For those of you who are in attendance, if you do not wish to be in the recording, you can either turn off your camera or you can leave the meeting and just view the recording after the fact. But otherwise, I will pass it off to Rosalie, who will go through an introduction to our solicitation.
All right, thank you, Matt. Yes, and we'll stop the recording at the end if in case you have questions that you don't necessarily want on the recording, and give you an opportunity to ask at the end of the presentation as well. All right, so as Matt shared a little bit about what the Proven Idaho program is, I'm going to kind of go through an overview of what is needed for the application itself. So the basic outline, the proposal is due Friday, April 12th, and we'll kind of get into the nitty-gritty of what all that needs to have submitted with it. Maximum funding per proposal is $40,000 per year, and a one-to-one cost share is required for all funding. The period of performance is up to 4 years. That is how long our multi-year funding cycle is. Your program can be more than that. Maybe you have something you have a long-term plan, but we'll also support programs that are a shorter period of performance as well. And we are especially interested in projects that include an actionable plan to broaden participation among underrepresented, low-income, rural, first-generation, and/or female students. So some possible PIP activities. This could include research, participation in STEM-focused competitions, participation in NASA-organized activities, workshops, special courses, or other projects to increase engagement in STEM fields. And you have to be able to show somehow the projects are contributing to NASA's missions or utilizing NASA content and resources. And must align with a NASA mission directorate. And on the next slide, we'll kind of give you some resources. If you're not sure what some of those word salads mean, it'll give you an idea of what are the NASA mission directorates and how can I make sure my programs are tying into it. So you can see highlighted here a couple resources, activities, the mission directorate websites. And so you can see that there are 5 NASA mission directorates: Aeronautics Research, Exploration Systems, Development Mission Directorate, Space Operations, Space Technology, and Science. And that's pretty broad. You know, when you think science, it covers every science. So if you're not sure where yours fits in, these are some great places to start. And if you need help or guidance, you're welcome to email us as well, and we can help. We can meet with you and get you on the right path as well. These other resources, if you're looking for things to include in a project or jump starts, the Office of STEM Engagement is a good place to start as well. All right, so when you're ready to submit your proposal, you're going to go to our website and you'll go to the Submit Proposals tab, and it will look like what you see on the screen here, the screenshot. So you have 4 resources down at the bottom that you're going to want to look at. The first one is the proposal guidelines. That's the solicitation itself. And that will help explain everything that you need to include, the length of each section, and the expectations of each part. We provide templates for both the proposal narrative and the budget. We ask that you use these because, one, they'll make sure that you're including everything that you need to include, but 2, it'll just make it much simpler for you as the applicant to be able to go through and make sure all your boxes are checked, and easy on us as the reviewers to make sure that you've included everything that you need to. And we can take a look at those here shortly as well. So those are in a Word document and then an Excel document as well. And then the fourth thing here is to submit your proposal. And we'll take a look at that next, kind of what that page looks like to submit. So it will take you to a form. And this is a form that we use. It's just a general proposal submission form for all the different solicitations that we open up throughout the year. And so you'll note that you're applying for the Proven Idaho program. So you'll select that. Once you select that, some more options will come up. Pretty general demographic information, information about the team, your project, what institution you're at. So that's a drop-down menu. It has institutions from around the states that are our affiliates. So if you're not sure who our affiliates are, or if you're with an institution that is an affiliate, you can look on our website. We have a tab that tells who all of our affiliates are. And if you don't see anything there that represents you or your institution, you can write that in. U of I proposals will need a Versa number, and then how much you're requesting. And Matt, to clarify, is that yearly or for their whole multi-year?
That would be the full multi-year request.
Okay, thank you. And then cost share would be the same for compared to your amount that you're requesting, the whole cost share that you'll be able to contribute. Some other demographics, and then what you'll be uploading below is those two templates that we just talked about. The Word document with your budget, your narrative, your proposal narrative, and then the Excel budget spreadsheet. All right, so if your proposal is selected, kind of looking ahead, what you can expect, you'll be working with us regularly. This isn't just kind of like, okay, here's your allowance, go have fun, whatever. There is some check-ins along the way, because we're curious about your program. We want to see what's happening. And so we'll work with you to make sure that we have everything that we need ahead of time before everything starts. So these bulleted items we're looking to have completed by early June if you are selected. So description of program, metrics and milestones, those are going to be broken down, for the whole length of your program, and then we'll do check-ins on a yearly basis to see how those are coming along. Statement of work, letter of commitment, subrecipient commitment forms, budget with expected cost pace, budget narratives, and other items as needed, depending on what your project is.
And I'll just jump in real quick on this slide. This slide is really to forewarn all of you who are proposing that if you are selected, the process doesn't end with this short proposal process that we are doing to identify the Proven Idaho programs, but you will work with us following selection to provide additional information that's not part of the requirements right now, because we are trying to keep the proposal writing process easier on everyone. And these are all things that we will need for our multi-year award for you to be included as a Proven Idaho program. So please know that if you are selected, all the hard work doesn't end when you submit your proposal in April.
Yes, thank you for reiterating that. We know that the deadline for this is coming up, and so it'll be almost like phases. So this will be due this summer. And then to get a little bit more into the future, if you are selected, awarded proposals will be expected to do the following. We do work closely with our Proven Idaho programs. We're in regular communication, getting information, giving information. Some of the things that we will be expecting from you will be those metric and milestones updates twice a year, spending updates when spending costing falls off pace. Annual reports, annual updates We have an affiliate meeting every year, and the expectation is that our Proven Idaho programs comes and does whether virtually or in person, shares about your program, because this is a major part of our program funding and kind of our package. And so the affiliates like to see what are the programs doing? What is it that we're supporting so heavily? And then we will ask for highlights for NASA and congressional representatives. Once a year, our consortia goes to DC and meets with our representatives to share about the program and tell them all the great things that we're doing, in hopes that they will continue to support us. And so you guys are what make us look good. And so we want to share that. And then there will be some reporting as far as the student side. We'll be asking for updates, making sure any students that are participating in your program, if they're over 18, need to be in the NASA Gateway system. And this is kind of twofold. One is to collect some demographics to see who are we supporting with these programs, but it's also beneficial to these students if they ever decide that they want to go on and get an internship at NASA or even an internship with us. It kind of is a step up. They've already got their information in this platform and can easily apply to some of those opportunities. And then other items as needed. We'll be in touch. All right.
So what is gateway system?
Oh, yeah. So the gateway system is it's a NASA profile page, essentially. The students go in and they put their information in to create a profile. And it allows us to be able to see who's enrolled in different programs and link them to different programs that they're in. NASA uses it as a way to house applications for their internships. So if a student's applying to a NASA internship, that's where they would apply. And so we've been asked kind of from the top down that all students participating in our programs also be in the NASA Gateway system, and we can link them to our programs so they can kind of see, the web of students that are within the network.
Yes, so should we, as the PI or co-PIs, should we submit or request students submit some information to you and you upload, or just how it works? Actually, this year we got confused last year.
I can jump in and answer this. So this is a new requirement that we are going to have going forward for anyone who is awarded funding through our programs. And any students who are significantly supported in terms of contact time or financial support are going to be required to create a profile in the NASA Gateway system. This is a requirement actually from the NASA OSTEM office. They are using it as a way to more easily collect information that they can use to do their reporting to the Office of Budget and Finance for the federal government, as well as to track the success of the various programs, as Rosalie said. So this is something that for all future projects that are awarded in our next multi-year, this will be a project requirement of anybody who's funded through the K-12 higher education and Proven Idaho programs going forward.
Thanks.
So yeah, here's contact information. If you haven't already been able to get in touch with us, the website and email, phone numbers, and then our social media, we're on all of them. Just for updates on opportunities that both we're supporting, programs that we support directly, but then also our broader network as well. Being our broader network being things within the state, things being supported by state agencies, but also federal NASA level opportunities from everything K-12, higher ed, and beyond. So I will pause if there's any questions. I do want to show you guys quickly, and I'll pull up the forms if there's any questions about those, with the caveat that Matt can probably speak to some of these more than I can. The budget page was the brainchild of Susie, so we might have to reach out to her to get some specific questions, but we will do our best.
And I'll add, while Rosalie is pulling those up, part of the reason why we've created these templates is to try and make integration of the selected programs into our massive multi-year proposal a little easier on my team and on all of you who are selected to go forward. And so that's why we're really trying to use these selected templates so that we know right where we can cut and paste content from to put it into our overall proposal. But it looks like Rosalie has the solicitation open. If you have not reviewed it previously, this is available on our website and has, again, all of the requirements for your proposals.
Yeah, so that is part of the quick turnaround on this, is that we need to have it into our proposal that will be submitted to NASA this summer. We haven't said it yet, in case you haven't figured it out. These are for projects that are starting next June 2025, and ending end date of May 2029. I'm not going to go too much further into this, but just wanted to point that bit out. And then let's see. Oh, where'd you go? There we go. The template, again, like we've mentioned, it's really spelling out exactly what needs to be in each section, because we want to make sure that it is clear what you need to be adding, and it's easy for us to be able to find those expected portions of the application proposal. Please note, on the budget page, there are multiple tabs. So it's not just this first one. This is the detailed summary page. Many of these cells have formulas or are formatted to pull from these other tabs. So just to give you that heads up, as you put information into these other tabs, it will start populating into this very first tab for you and do some of the work for you. So just be aware of that as you're clicking through and noticing what might already have formulas in there. You will note that it is asking for every single year's, up to 4 years of projected expenditures. And if you're only asking for funding for 2 years, then don't worry about those other 2 columns. All right, that's the quick view of that. What questions do we have about that?
I had a question on the travel details
Sure.
tab, if you don't mind specific questions.
Yeah.
So it has like a trip name and you can change it from year to year. So say I have like 5 mini trips that will happen every year. So that'll be quite a few to put on here. Do you want them all in the same tab and just copy paste, or would you rather have like 1 year and put 1 year in one tab and then another year in another tab and like copy and paste it that way?
You can put them all in this one by just adding additional boxes so that we know in year 1 you're going to go on these 5 trips, and year 2 the same 5 trips. But that way you can also adjust your travel costs if you feel that you need to adjust them for inflation or different locations or anything by year.
Okay.
But we do like all of the detail because we do turn around and provide all of that exact same detail in our proposal to NASA. Because if we don't, when we are selected for funding, they'll come back and give us all this detail. So we try to collect it up front so that we can have a fast turnaround when they're actually ready to write the big check.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, any other questions while we have things pulled up? Otherwise, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
For the personnel, if I have quite a few, like if I have student employees, but I don't know who those employees will be, can I say like 5 engineering students and then just put the total amount that it would be for them, or do I need to do all 5?
No, so you could do, is this for travel or for like participant support or something?
This would be for under A, like an hourly wage if they're
Yeah.
being paid an hourly wage.
So I think you could put just let me see, it says, I think you could summarize it as 5 students at this hourly rate and this number of hours and just put it in as a single line item. Because we understand for all of the Proven Idaho programs, if you're supporting students, you don't know what students you're going to have in 2025, let alone next academic year. So
Yeah.
we totally understand that. And as long as in your budget narrative, you say, in this year, we expect 5 students at 10 hours a week and 10 weeks per year, whatever it works out to be, then we can make sure that the math in the budget works also.
Okay. And then a follow-up little question. Is it in the rates cell that I would say like this, $12 an hour times this many hours, and that's what I'm guesstimating? Or should I just should I make it a formula or not?
Well, you can certainly make it a formula. Usually we use the rates for if like the PI on the project is going to be in there, because as faculty, right, we all have an annual or 9-month rate. And then if you put in the FTE equivalent, then you can use that to calculate the total. So you can put in formulas and just put in an hourly rate of $18, and then in the total column or in the NASA funds column, do 18 times 10 times 5, 10 hours times 5 students. That is acceptable. You can add some formulas as long as the general format stays the same so that we can copy and paste.
Okay, so the NASA fund is not the total for that amount. That's the hourly. So the rate would
NASA funds is the total per year that you would have as a direct charge to your program. The cost share column is the total per year that you would be matching for the various categories in each of the cells.
perfect. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other general questions before we stop the recording and open it up for maybe more project-specific questions that people do not want recorded?
I'll ask a question on this NASA Gateway system. So you say over 18 years old students. So if I'm working on a proposal for K through 12, and we might have an 18-year-old, then they do not have to go in the NASA Gateway system, and it would be a 19-year-old or greater that would be in the Gateway system.
I will have to triple check, but I believe the language is if the student is 18 years or older, they need to create a profile in NASA Gateway because they are considered an adult.
Okay, thank you.
And again, the NASA Gateway system is the students have the choice to provide or not provide their demographics. At a bare minimum, they need a contact email and a name. And it is over the course of the next 4 years of funding, we are ultimately going to be required to have every PI who applies for our programs create a profile in NASA Gateway. I think by year 2 of our next multi-year program. So this is going to go beyond just the students, and even faculty members will have to create profiles as well, staff members as well. And it's, again, a requirement coming from NASA headquarters as they attempt to understand the reach of all of our programs across our states.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And so if you have a question that you don't want recorded, then now is